Well, hello creatives and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are just joining me new today, we have a different topic. Normally this is an art channel. I talk about all things art, I do reviews, I do demos, but today we have to talk about something much more serious. So there's no art on this video. For those of you who tuned in for art, join me on my next one or watch this. Maybe you'll get something out of it. I hope this video helps some of you. So let's go inside somewhere a little warmer because it's still a little cold out here. We're just getting rid of winter, I hope, even though it's going to snow in a couple of days. But let's go inside now and talk about something serious. Okay, so we're in someplace a little warmer for me now. I can talk. I'm in my studio. Actually, I've been building this for a couple of years and I hope to finish it this year, but it's been a little hard. Anyway, about a year ago, I was at work and I didn't quite feel right. I work in manufacturing. I'm making parts. I work with a machine. It's not too loud. It's not stressful. It's not heavy work at all. But it can be distracting because you're concentrating on your machine and so forth and watching the parts that they don't jam or anything. So I get these subtle feelings that something's just not right. And it kind of felt like I drank a whole pot of coffee. Like I was anxious, like I was a racehorse at the gate waiting for the bell to spring. And then 10 minutes later, I felt fine. 20 minutes later, I stop and I'm like, that doesn't feel right. I feel like really weird. Why am I so jumpy? I wasn't shaking or anything. There was nothing visually wrong with me. And I just couldn't figure out what it was. And at points, I almost felt like I had heart palpitations or my heart fluttered. And it was so subtle though. It was almost like a storm in the summer where the lights flicker for a second and then they stop and you say to yourself, did that just happen? So anytime I felt it, by the time I stopped and tried to slow myself down, it was over. So I thought, man, I must be imagining it. You know, I haven't been sleeping right lately. You know, maybe I'm coming down with something. All these things we tell ourselves to justify little nagging things that our body is telling us. So a day goes by and another day. And by the third day, I'm still feeling this on-off kind of weird, racy feeling. I don't have any trouble sleeping, but when I'm at work in the morning, boy, it just was like night and day. I'm like, what is wrong? And I thought, okay, something must be wrong. Either it's my heart or my hormones, endocrine system maybe. Maybe it's blood pressure. Maybe it's blood sugar. Even though I've never had any problems with these things before. But at this point, 3 days in, I can't rationalize it anymore. It's not digestive. It's not a sinus or cold or anything flu like that. So I can't justify it as I'm getting a virus of something. I said, you know, if it's something like this, I better get it checked out, especially if it's my heart. And at 3 o'clock on a Friday, of course, I waited and waited. My primary is not going to be able to get me in, and I figured also they're going to send me to the hospital anyway because there's a limited amount they can do for these types of symptoms that are very vague. So I go to the ER, and they take me in. Well, I tried my best to give them the symptoms, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that sounds like a crazy person. My heart kind of feels like it's fluttering, but it's not. I feel anxious, but I'm not. 1 minute I feel strange and then I'm fine. What can I possibly tell them? So they take all the, preliminary tests to check my heart, blood pressure, blah, 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 all that stuff. And they go, okay, well, we'll run some tests. Go ahead, sit down in the waiting room. I sit down in the waiting room. Half hour later, they call me in to do the test. They do an EKG. They do some blood, take some blood, and they're running tests. They send me back out in the waiting room. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm seeing these people be checked in with more serious things, the ones that didn't come in on ambulances. More serious things. My mother fell down. She's coming in a wheelchair, checking in. She can't move her left side. Well, her arm's probably broken. And here I am in the waiting room, taking up space, thinking, well, this is something stupid. They're probably going to tell me I just need, more sleep. I'm not getting enough sleep. Which I wasn't, but not to that extent. But hours pass, and near on 10 o'clock at night, I went in at 3:30, 10 o'clock at night, doctor calls me in the office and he says, okay, so tell me what's going on. So I try my best to give him these vague, weird symptoms. And he says to me, do you know you have high blood pressure? What? And he told me what it was. I almost hit the roof. Let's all have a stroke. I had never had problems before with high blood pressure. I know it's the silent killer, but I go to my regular checkups and they've been checking my blood pressure all along. It's been fine. Okay, so I take medication. They gave me a prescription for medication. It's all under control. That's fine. And I do follow up with my primary doctor, as they suggest, of course. And we're going through my records, trying to figure out what is this? What is causing this? Why are you having this all of a sudden? She's asking me all kinds of questions. Is my job stressful? Has anything changed? How is my home life? Am I having fights at home? All these things that could possibly cause stress. And it's coming up nothing. So I don't know what it is. So I decide, well, along with taking medication, I better cut out the caffeine. So darn it, no more chocolate for me. No coffee, but I have, I can have decaf, but I figure, well, there's still a little caffeine in decaf, so I'm going with my favorite tea, which I've been drinking all along. I love this tea. It is a licorice tea, and you can get it in all kinds of brands, but I like it because at night, instead of eating cookies or something bad, I can drink a cup of that, and it's sweet, so it satisfies my sweet tooth. And I really don't want anything sweet. I don't want any chocolate or anything. In fact, it kind of clashes with the tea, odd as it sounds, because you'd think sweet licorice tea and chocolate sweet, but they're kind of like, they clash. You wouldn't want anything after that. And I've been doing really great drinking that in the morning too. In fact, while this was happening at work, I decided, well, I'm not going to have coffee on my coffee break. I'm going to have tea because I brought a whole bunch of it with me. So, I'm having the licorice tea at work, which is great. Then I run out of it and I'm like, oh no, now what am I going to do? So I'm still taking my medication. Everything's fine. And I decide to go get some. My local store that carried it was out. They did a SKU reduction. They don't carry it anymore. So I had to go online. While I'm online, I'm searching. I happen to scroll down. They give you all the I went on Amazon. Of course, they give you all the pictures of the box and all this. And I see the picture on the box. It says, warning, pregnant nursing women. And I said, oh, well, that's not me. I don't have to worry about that. And then there's this line underneath it that says, hypertension risk. And it hit me like a lead balloon. That's it. Here I am, cutting out caffeine, cutting out chocolate, cutting out anything that can have a racing effect on my heart, and I am exasperating the condition. Now, who would think licorice, something we give to kids, something we eat as candy, licorice tea can cause high blood pressure if you don't have it, and it can make it worse if you do have it. So if any of you have that condition or are drinking this kind of tea or eating a lot of licorice, like I was drinking the tea thinking I was doing something good, and I was just making it worse and worse and worse, and it's cumulative. So all the time I was drinking it, it was getting worse and worse. And finally, those days at work, I guess my body had reached its limit. and all the weeks or months of drinking it beforehand had caught up with me, and I started feeling those odd symptoms. But who would think? So a warning to anybody who doesn't know, you know, herbal things can be dangerous. You really have to research these things. And when you fill out that 2-page form at the doctor's, when you're new at the doctor or the dentist, put it all in. You know, even if you think, oh, it's nothing, you know, put it in. And even doctors don't know. I mean, my doctor is great, and my health facility is fantastic. But I went to the ER. You know, there's a doctor who missed it. I went to, and I don't want to say missed it because, you know, they go through extensive training. I give doctors everything, and medical professionals, they have a hard job. They can't possibly keep up on every single little thing. And the way the healthcare system is now, they go from one patient to another. They don't have time to say, gee, you know, that really bothers me. Why is that patient having that trouble out of the blue? They don't have time. So I give it to them, but it's easy to miss. Look how it can be missed. So make sure if you think, number one, that something is not important to report to your doctor, make sure you do if you're taking it. And above all, if you are having any kind of symptoms, anything that's out of the ordinary for you, you know your body, you know what's normal for you. If it's out of the norm, get help. Go see a doctor if you can. You know, get it done right away. Don't wait like I did. Because I waited and I had the high blood pressure high, I don't know how long, at least for a couple of days, I suffered some permanent damage. It's not debilitating, but it could have been avoided. And the medication I'm taking, you know, it's not a high dose, but it's awful. It makes me tired. I don't feel like doing anything. It's all I can do to force myself to do the dishes. It's really sometimes that awful. And it's not a depression because I don't feel depressed. It's just, I just don't have the motivation anymore. And I'm trying to finish this art studio, which I've started 2 years ago. It's taking me a while because I'm building it by myself. I give myself credit for that. It's tough. It's heavy work. At my age, it is heavy work. I can do so much a day, so much in the summer heat per day. And I got the structure up. I'm working on the inside. But I'll tell you, since I've had this and I've been taking this medication, it is tough to get myself in here, even just to put up a few boards. So it's slow going. I'm working on a plan to get off of it naturally by losing weight, exercising. That's the only thing I can control right now. I can't control my age. I don't smoke, I can't quit smoking, you know, I don't drink, I can't quit drinking. I can't do any of the other things voluntarily that you can do to lower your blood pressure, but I'm working on the other things. So hopefully for me, things will get better. Eventually I'll be able to get off it. I'll build my studio and I'll feel better because I can come in here and do art. But I hope this video has helped some people, even if it helps one person to think about what they are consuming, and to read labels and to do research, you know, and to get help if you think you have even vague symptoms that are not for you. So that's my video for this week. I will be back in future with art videos only. So thank you if you are my loyal following for art and you've watched this. I hope either it helps you or someone you know maybe. And next time we will have some art play. For those of you who do not watch my channel, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. I would appreciate if you want to subscribe. If you look at my other videos and you're interested in art, go ahead and subscribe. You know, it's a low-cost way for you to help my channel anyway. So take care, and I will see you all next time.